Going for an orientation? History. Fine. Okay. So what is the purpose of today's orientation lecture? I think the class is only for an hour or so. This is not a regular course. Just an introductory lecture to give you an idea as to what we are going to study in history, how are we going to approach the subject, etc. Fine. Now, no need to write anything for today's class. Just keep those things away, because whatever I'm going to discuss today, definitely I will repeat them again when I take the regular course. You all have an idea as to when are we starting the regular course? June 23rd, the course is going to start. Okay. There again, I'll repeat many of the things that I'm going to tell you all today. It's just that you will get an idea on how we are going to deal the subject, what this subject is all about. So let us keep this session a bit informal and casual, okay, and a bit interactive as well. Now, when you come to the subject history, history is not something which you're listening for the first time. All of us have done our schooling. In schooling, did we have the subject history? Yes or no? We had. But how much of knowledge we really retain from that subject? Hardly anything. Almost it's gone evaporated, right? The reason is that the problem is not with the subject, the problem is not with you. The problem is the way the subject was taught. Yes or no? Did you find history to be a very interesting subject in your childhood? If that feeling is there, definitely you should give some credit to your teacher. Otherwise, the subject itself, the way it is taught now, it's very, very boring. And you might have heard many a times people say history is just all about kings and battles and wars. Yes, remembering years, etc. and all. Nothing like that. And I can assure you, as we go towards into the course, you will understand that history is not just a factual subject where you will have to memorize many things, but it has a lot of concepts. Right? Now, from childhood, again, history has been blamed in many ways. That boring is one word that we usually associate with history. But when you actually study history in a correct way, you will see that, take the word history itself. Inside that you will find this word called story. History. So essentially, history must be told in a fashion of a story. When you tell it in a story form, definitely you will start enjoying it actually. Right? Then, in this lecture, again, as I said, very few superficial discussion about history as such. If I'll ask you a basic definition of history, how would you define history? Study of the past events. Yes, at least one thing is very clear. In history, we don't study the present things. We study what has happened in the past, right? Then when you study what is happening what has already happened in the past, how will you study it? Now we are all living in the present times. How will I understand what happened some thousands and hundreds of years ago? Don't you think in the past times when people would have lived, they would have left some things behind, although that people might have died. They should have left many things behind for us. Don't you think it is using those materials from the past that modern scholars try to understand how people lived in that times? That's how we can actually study. So generally when I say history, definition of history, people simply say study of the past events. Okay. That's where you'll have to slightly go one step ahead, because that definition that we have just now seen, study of the past events, even a school-going kid can give you that answer. Yes or no? Right? Just let me check how much of a basic knowledge you people have. Before I go into giving you a better definition for history, let me ask you the difference between two words. Think and tell me properly. Language and script. Are these two things the same or are they different? Language, script. Try. Which is the written form? Script is the written form, whereas language is spoken, oral, spoken thing is the language. Fine. Which of these two things do you think would have come first in human life? Language or script? Language, obviously. Even today you will have many tribal societies which have language, but they don't have a script. Now, when you see what is a script, can I define script in an easier way like this? That script is nothing but a visual representation of sounds that we speak, okay? Through some symbols. A visual representation of sounds through some symbols. For suppose, if I write this on the board, what would you pronounce it as? What is coming to your mind the moment you see this letter? A. A is a meaning or a sound. It's a sound that's coming to your mind. Fine. If I write it, if you understand Telugu, is a sound. Is a sound. So, that sound which is actually not visible, you're trying to represent that sound through some symbol. And when you do that, that is actually called as a script. Fine. Now, trying to, why am I, help you understand, why am I using these two words, languages and scripts? Okay. Generally, no need to write, I said again, I'll dictate all these things when you come to the regular class. History, you actually say, is the study of the past human activities since the invention of writing or scripts. What am I doing on the board actually? Don't you see, am I writing something? So, study of the past of human activities before the invention of writing is not considered as part of history actually. There is a separate term for that. Some of you might have even heard it. That term is called as prehistory, because when you use this word pre, right, you're talking about something which has happened before something else, right? So when you actually use the word history, one has to be more careful in defining it, not simply saying study of the past events. Now, you can give me a better definition of history. And I say, history studies the past of human activities only since the invention of writing or invention of scripts. So all that period of human past before the invention of writing or scripts is simply put in this term as prehistory. You know, this consists of nearly millions of years, whereas human beings have invented script only in the last few thousands of years. So you should be happy that in the UPSC syllabus you really don't have prehistory. What you have in history, your syllabus is only history. But then even that is quite sufficient for us, because this will be somewhere around nearly 4,000 to 5,000 thousands of years ago. Since that time we study history. Fine. Now the question is, can I say the invention of writing or scripts to be the starting point for study of history? Invention of scripts or writing to be the starting point for the study of history and Japocha. Because before that there is no history. There are no writings, which means there is no history. It's once humans have started inventing writing, then you start studying what you call as history and etc. Now, just imagine a few thousands of years ago, some people in some society came up with the first ever script. Don't you think the people living in the past, when they have invented a script, they would have written down something and left behind? Yes or no? They should have written something and left it behind. And the person, the historian in the modern times, actually goes back there, he brings out that ancient scripts, and then they read it and try to understand who those people were who wrote these scripts actually in that time. And what did they write inside the scripts? By doing so, will a historian in the modern times be able to understand how the people in the past were living their life? Yes or no? Yes, that is what generally a historian's job is. Okay, so you see, historians, can I say this? Historians try to recover written material from the past, try to decode the scripts that are there in the past written records, understand what these people have written, who wrote that, why did they write all these things, and by doing all this, will we get an understanding of what happened in the past. That is how a historian does the job. Fine. But now then you should also understand that why are we taking writing or script as such an important cutoff point to start history? Does writing have any significance in human life? Record keeping, no. Suppose today's an orientation class, I told you myself, don't write anything. Okay. But suppose when we start the regular course, will you start writing some things in the classroom or no? Why? What, suppose the entire history course is nearly around 200 hours. If for 200 hours, if you people just come listen to the class and go away without writing anything, what will happen? You will forget. The reason humans have invented scripts is because human memory is limited. The amount of knowledge that I'll keep transferring to you, you should have a ready reference even after the class finishes. Okay. So now when human societies in those past, when their knowledge was limited, they did not feel the need for having scripts. But when the knowledge started increasing, these people felt that no, this much of knowledge we will not be able to memorize directly. So it's better that we should have some kind of a script so that we can maintain some records. Yes, please. That was how slowly the humans have started inventing script and since that time only we take that part of the past as belonging to history. Every entire past is not belonging to history. Please remember that. Okay. Otherwise, if you take a common school going kid, he will simply say what? History study of the past. In that past, there are some millions of years. But actually in history, please tell me, we are only studying few thousand years ago. I hope most of you might have heard this thing in your life. Indus Valley Civilization. And that was the first time in India some society has come out with a script. And that's taken as this, can I say, the beginning of Indus Valley will be the starting point of Indian history then. Because the first time we are having a script in this country by the Indus Valley people. Before Indus Valley Civilization, don't you think people were living in this country? Yes. They were living, but then you don't consider them as part of history. You will simply put them as part of prehistory. Okay, this is a rough definition that I'm giving you all. And again, many times people say history, you'll have to remember years and dates and kings. I'll just ask a small question to you all. When do you think India got independence from what we call as British rule? 1947, August 15th. Now, this is a fact that we have all been told from childhood, right? It is something for you to memorize. But my question to you all is, why we got independence in 1947 only? Why not earlier? Why not later? Did you get my point? So it's not just studying what happened in the past and when it happened. You'll have to ask a question, why it happened at that time? Why not before and after? Yes. Now, to make you understand why India got independence in 1947 only, I'll have to take you slightly to the world level, because something deadly events were happening in the world at that point of time. Most of you might have heard this event called World War II. You know the years for this war? 39 to 45. In this war, there were many countries which are involved, but for right now, for our purpose, we will take Britain was involved on one side, and on the other side, there was a deadly opponent was there, Germany. And you know the leader of that country at that point of time? Hitler. And actually, Germany was very, very powerful at that time. And it was air bombing. You would understand air bombing? Aerial, that they take flights and they start showering bombs on these countries. Okay, Germany was doing that with Britain. Very badly it was bombing Britain, and Britain was facing severe difficulties. And at that time, can I say Britain was still ruling India? Yes, please. India. Don't you think, to some extent, inside India, you might have all heard of something called as a national movement led by a political party called Congress, and the leader of that was Gandhi. Yes. Now you think and tell me, do you think it is only because of the national movement that is being led by Congress and Gandhi that India got freedom? Or was it also that World War II was facilitating India in getting independence? Is it helping a bit here? Why you know? Because these people are having a very strong control over India. But the Britain, suppose I am Britain, I am catching hold of India with one hand. But on the other hand, I am fighting with Germany. And Germany is weakening me very badly here. And my body is hurting. My entire country's economy is sinking because of that serious aerial bombing that is happening there. A lot of attention and my resources are going waste here. Is this weakening Britain? This war, World War II. Is it weakening Britain then? Weaken just yes. Just will this help in India getting freedom from Britain to some extent at least?
Yes.
Yes, please. And that is why you'll see we got freedom in the year soon after World War II. So my question to you all is, if World War II would not have happened, please tell me what should be the situation? Or I'll put another question. If after World War II, Britain would have ended up being stronger than what it was before the World War II, do you think the chances of getting freedom would have been higher or less? Less. Now you try to understand what I'm essentially trying to say. Childhood lo manak cheppedi only one part. They say we got independence in 1947 and they end there. What they do not tell in childhood is what? Why in 1947 only? And if you can see here, it is not just conditions inside the country that you should understand. You should also understand what is happening outside this country and link these two events and get a larger picture. I hope this is what UPSC will try to test in the examination. Not simply facts, but why those things have happened in that time period only. Yes, please. This is one basic, because the people keep saying it is very factual, you'll have to memorize. Now, once you know this story behind why we got independence in 1947, I don't think so you'll really need to memorize August 15, 1947. Yes, please. Because you know the background story and it will make you great sense in your mind and help you understand what is happening. And then again, you just now when I started the class, you said history studies about the past, right? But I'll say, is the past and the present, are they linked to each other? Yes, please. Can I say the present is the product of the past? Yes, definitely we can say that. Okay. Now, if the present of a country, present situation of a country is in this way, definitely that will be having, the past will be having some impact. If you change the past, the present will also be very, very different, right? I'll give you some examples. How by studying the past, you will understand the present better. Okay. Now again I said, I'll make you write all these things in the regular course. Just listen for time being. It was back in 2014 that something important happened in Indian politics. Amen. 2014, almost a kind of an earthquake in Indian politics. The Congress party, which was ruling this country for the longest time since independence, it fell. And since then, it is BJP that is ruling this country, right? BJP Achanda. And, the first Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award in India, was given by the Prime Minister Modi to whom? The Bharat Ratna was given by Modi to a person by name Madan Mohan Malaviya. Now that was the year I gave my last attempt for civil services. It's already 10 plus years gone. Okay. For me, as a student at that point of time in 2014, don't you think it was a current affairs for me? It was an event that is happening in the present. But the man for whom that Bharat Ratna was given is not living today. He's already dead. The Bharat Ratna is giving not to a living man, but to a person who is already dead. So for 2014, it's a part of current affairs. Now you might want to memorize it. The first Bharat Ratna Prime Minister Modi gave after coming to power was to Madan Mohan Malaviya. Now to understand why they gave it to this man, that's what is the most important point, right? Now to see why they gave this Bharat Ratna to this person only. Let us see some points there. Many of you people do not know this, but it was in this year that a party called BJP formed. Before that, there is no BJP. It is BJP formed in this year. Do you know the two important people who played a role in establishing this party? L.K. Advani and Vinay Ramanna. Lal Krishna Advani is one man, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. These were the two people who were actually played the lead role in establishing this party in 1980. L.K. Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Next. But then, where did this party come from all of a sudden? It actually came from another political party called, another political party called BJS. That was called Bharatiya Jana Sangh. Okay. This party was formed somewhere in 1951. Bharatiya Jana Sangh. And this was established by another man called Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Okay. This man established this party. This party was not functioning well. So they thought this requires a kind of a restructuring. Some people went out of this party and established the BJP. Fine. And this BJS itself actually came from another organization called RSS. Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. At least everyone knows this, right? It is from RSS. The BJP gets its actual, the cadre strength and all these things. Okay. And RSS was established by another person by name Hedgewar. I will discuss about this later on. RSS itself came from another organization which formed in 1915, and that organization's name is called Akhila Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha. Akhila Bharatiya. What do you mean by Akhila Bharatiya in English? All India. Yes, please. Akhila Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha. And the founder of this Hindu Mahasabha, now I think you can take a guess. Arthamenda? Madan Mohan Malaviya was the founder of Akhila Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha. Now you understand the logic why Modi gave this first Bharat Ratna to this man. If you try to understand, look at these 2 years, they are nearly 100 years apart from each other. The what happened in the past, don't think it is past and done. It actually keeps affecting the present without your knowledge. And if you really want to understand the present of any country, you should actually first understand past than just scholar. That's very, very clear for you all. Why he chose Madan Mohan Malviya. Now, if I'll ask you the question, 2014 first Bharat Ratna award was given by Modi to whom? Straight away answer will come Madan Mohan Malviya without you putting any pressure on your mind to memorize it. If you do not know this background story, please tell me what is going to happen. You will have to simply mug it up as a fact. Yes or no, please? That's the part. So history, I told you, should be told as a story laga cheppale. Story laga cheptene, you will actually end up appreciating that subject. Otherwise, it's simply a bundle of facts you will have to keep burdening your mind with. When you know the background story, it becomes a process of enjoyment. And you actually know what? When you learn all these things, you can go and show off with your friends also. I know all these things. తెలుసా నీకు ఎందుకు ఇచ్చిన మదం మాలవియాకి అని అంటే ఇది స్టోరీ అయిపోలేదు. I took this topic for a particular reason. Look at this man, Madan Mohan Malviya. Who is actually felicitating him? Which party? BJP party. Now, let me see if I can show you some points to you all. Again, Cheptanana, again, all of these things I'll make you write when we start the regular course, okay? There is this man, okay? This is the man whom you know as Madan Mohan Malviya, okay? Now just have a reading of these points. Madan Mohan Malviya was an Indian scholar, educational reformer, activist, notable for his role in the Indian independence movement. He was the president of Indian National Congress 3 times and the founder of Akhila Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha. Which party he belonged to? Congress party. Now, why is BJP felicitating a member from the Congress party? That should be very interesting for you all. Congress party, Congress party member Madan Mohan Malviya. But why is BJP giving him importance? That is where these things get opened up. To understand the present, you will have to go into the past. Let me show you some more points. See some pictures there. Do you find Gandhi very close to Madan Mohan Malviya? Particularly this picture is one very, very interesting one. Evaru? Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Madan Mohan Malviya. Cow. Okay? Now, I'll ask you a simple question again. This much I think everyone should be able to answer, okay? Today, this issue of cow protection, Gau Raksha, is taken as the agenda of which political party? Sure. It is taken as the political agenda of the political party called BJP. It is this party which always talks about Gau Raksha, cow protection, right? Now, let me show you something again. Now, who is there with the cow? And your Gandhi. Yes, please. చూడండి మజా వస్తుంది. Actually, if you see, even before I typed, you get this. No, why? There's a reason. Actually, I've taken a previous class here, so I showed some of the students. So that's giving me the suggestion, okay? Gandhi's views on cow protection. Only then you will actually understand history is not something to be so afraid of. You should actually love studying history because it helps you understand the present politics very finely, okay? Now look at this. I'm going to a website called mahatmagandhi.org, okay? And what is this topic on which Mahatma Gandhi is talking? See there? Gandhi only, doubt ledhu kada? Em rashindi? Cow protection. These are all the quotations Gandhi has given for cow protection. Did they tell this in the textbooks? No. Why? It is not suitable for the ideology of that party. Yes, please. What history problem is, so many things have happened in the past. But when you write history textbooks, the political parties, whichever is in power, they choose only certain things from the past and they present it in the textbooks so that the people will only see one side of the past and they will put only those things which are politically useful for that political party. if they write these things, what Gandhi has written, asal eppudu life lo imagine chesnava Gandhi was writing on cow protection and most of us might have never even heard of all these things. But don't worry, all my classes I will open up all these things there. So history is not factual. History is extremely conceptual. Not only conceptual, history is controversial. Have you all heard in recent times BJP is trying to change the history textbooks? Winner, a common sense person would have heard this. Why? Mughal Empire తీసేస్తున్నారు, Delhi Sultanate they are removing, okay? Which means, you will see, with the change of a political party, history textbooks actually undergo a change. All the present day NCRTs that we are preparing for the civil services were all written during the era of the Congress party. But right now you have a government which is completely opposite to their ideology. Congress people are generally called leftists, whereas the BJP people are generally called as the rightists. Don't think before for going to the examination, you will simply read the NCRTs and you can go and dump them in the examination. No, please. The days are gone. That could have been done before 2014. Did you get my point? Because at that time there was the same party which has written the textbooks, but now you have a party which is completely different, which is from the textbooks that you read. So it's not that you simply take and dump these things there. You'll have to add some extra points from their perspective, the rightist perspective. So again, we should not go completely blindly with the BJP perspective also. Do you think the BJP textbooks will be completely representing the truth, or they will also write only aspects which are suitable for their ideology? Well, do you think BJP will going to write the entire truth as it is? Or just like Congress, they will write only certain aspects which are suitable for their ideology? That's what is going to happen. So what we'll have to do this now? Balancing act. Some points from left, some points from right, some points from Congress, some points from BJP, and try to balance yourself. Fine. Now, let me show you some beautiful quotation your Gandhi has made on cow. Just read this one line. Jana, is it visible to all of you? I'll just read it out, okay? Mother cow is in many ways better than the mother who gave us birth. Go and tell your mother today this. Mother cow is in many ways better than the mother who has given you birth. Look at this quotation. I worship it and I shall defend its worship against the whole world. These are the statements given by Mr. Gandhi. But why are these not in your textbooks? Please tell me now. You understand what kind of politically distorted textbooks we have in this country? You cannot change maths textbooks. You cannot change science textbooks. You can't write 1 + 1 3. People will kill you. Yes, please. But can BJP change history textbooks or no? Yes. They will write those aspects which are suitable for them, just as Congress has done. So, neither of these things, these people we can trust completely. Both the political parties, they have their own agendas. They will write in the textbooks only which is suitable to them. That's why BJP has eliminated what? Mughal Empire, eliminated Jesus Naro. Yes. That's how it actually happens. So you think history is such a straight subject, you go and write whatever in the textbooks in the examination and you expect all beautiful marks. That's not going to happen. 2014 Mundo? Before 2014, was it okay that you would go and dump the history textbook knowledge? That's fine, because the same party was the one who has written the textbooks. So you can clearly see, by studying the past, please tell me, why am I giving all these examples? By studying the past, you actually understand what is happening in the present times. I'll show another picture. Okay, that's why you see in this picture what? Mahatma Gandhi with a cow. The only thing you'll find in Congress era textbooks about Gandhi is only one word: non-violence. Nothing else. As if this man has said nothing else in his entire life. Only non-violence cheppinattu chupistarandi. But this man has actually said so many things. But only what is suitable for them? Non-violence. So they put this concept. Everything else has been wiped out from the history textbooks. I'll show you something more interesting. Just try to see it. We all call Mahatma Gandhi as Mahatma Gandhi. Yes or no, please? Now, I want you people to read this one para. I'll show you. Then you'll start understanding history in a completely different way. And otherwise, now we think history is simply a bundle of facts that you memorize and go and dump in the exam. No, that's not how it's going to work. Just give me a second. ఎందుకంటే తెలవాలి ఇవి. మహామన అని కనబడుతున్నాను ఇక్కడ. కైండ్లీ సీ ఇఫ్ యూ ఫైండ్ దట్ వర్డ్ మహామన ఎనీవేర్. మిస్ అయింది అది. Here it is, you see this paragraph. ఇక్కడ ఉందని ఇది ఏ హెడ్డింగ్ లో ఉంది, పొలిటికల్ కెరియర్ కదా. ఇన్ పొలిటికల్ కెరియర్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది నాన్న. జస్ట్ రీడ్ దిస్ వన్ పారాగ్రాఫ్. Malavia became the president of INC in 1909, a position he had also in 1918. He was a moderate leader and opposed separate electorates for Muslims. All these technical details I will tell you when we come to the course. Now this is what we are interested in. The Mahamana title was conferred on him by Mahatma Gandhi. Now the person you and I are calling Mahatma, that Mahatma is calling someone else as Mahamana. Then you have all heard about Mahatma, but why not about Mahamana? You see this? And you understand how political history is directly related to politics. The better you understand history, the better you will understand the present day politics. Yes, please. Act straight, Nana. Doubt le dantlo. And show you one more picture. I give all these examples to prove that history is not factual. History is conceptual. Not only conceptual, controversial. Biased ఉంటుంది 100%. That's why you get all these controversies, okay? I'll show you another picture of these people and how much they love each other. Have you all heard any time during the British rule in India, we had something like round table conferences, Nana? Okay, there were 3 round table conferences. In the second round table conference, that is the only round table conference Gandhi had attended actually. Even in that round table conference, you will see this man is very much closely associated with this person. That is the actual meeting, Nana. This is the actual meeting where Gandhi is found. He is sitting next to whom? ఈ ఎక్కడికి పోయినా కలిసి ఉంటారు ఇద్దరు. అప్పుడప్పుడు మధ్యలో ఉంటుంది అంతే. His close friends, sir. Why is this man's name not figuring in your textbooks? Have they told about Mahatma Gandhi in childhood? Yes. Why they have not told about Madan Mohan Malavia, who is a very close friend of Mahatma then? And your Mahatma is calling this man as what? Mahamana. That they have not told. They will tell what? Mahatma. But your Mahatma is calling that person as Mahamana. That they will not tell. Yes, please. That is the problem with this country. And now, what I'm trying to expose is the way Congress has written that history textbooks are very biased. But the problem with the BJP is, instead of rectifying the mistakes of Congress, you know what BJP is doing? He's repeating the same mistake. If you have put forward your own interpretation of the past, we will also do the same thing. And actually, what should be the expectation of a history teacher from the BJP? They have distorted the past. At least you don't. You rectify the mistake done by them. What these people are doing is they are going on repeating the same mistake instead of rectifying the mistake done by the Congress. అంటే ఒకడు తప్పు చేస్తే దాన్ని సరి చేయడం కాదు. నువ్వు తప్పు చేసినావు కదా, నేను కూడా చేస్తా. ఇది ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందో తెలుసా అంటే, జస్ట్ ఇమాజిన్ ఆల్రెడీ సమ్ న్యూ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్స్ have started in CRTs. Do you have an awareness of this? Yes. Suppose 2019 also BJP comes to power, 2029. 5 more years they will rule. At some point of time, don't you think BJP may fall down from the power? Again, which political party might come to power at the central level? Most probably again Congress will come. What will they want to do again? They will change the history textbooks. Malli at some point of time Congress will fall, BJP will come. Aithe mammal torture enduku pedutru? Why are you torturing us, teachers and students? That every time you change a political party, you change the history textbooks. Now how painful it is for students, you see that. That's the reason history textbook should not be written by people of any one party. History textbook must also always be written by the people of different schools of thought, different people. When they write, don't you think then we will have a more balanced version of history? Then there will be no need, even if a political party changes, there is no need to change textbooks, because these textbooks are representing all the different views of the people. So this is how you'll have to handle history. History is not such a straightforward subject that you simply memorize some years and go and dump in the examination. ఎప్పుడు ఇద్దరు క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అబ్బా అంటే నా బాధ ఏంటంటే, when you write about this man, why are you not writing about this person? Which means this man is also belonging to Congress, please. But why has this person not been given that importance? Is because the Congress party has done one fundamental mistake. It has given all the credit to one family. All the leaders, although they are Congress leaders, not belonging to this family, have not been given the due importance by Congress. So now you say, is BJP taking advantage of those members who have been neglected by the Congress?
Yes.
Yes, please. And taking advantage of that fact. As simple as that. Because this man is not belonging to BJP. Who? Mohan Malaviya. Although he established Hindu Mahasabha, but still he was a member of Congress. So these are a few examples which I generally discuss with people, students, so that they really appreciate that simply mugging up will not be sufficient over here. A few more examples I'll give, because being practical is more important than being theoretical. There is some problem in India called Naxalism. Naxalites antamandi villane. Do you also know there is another word by which we refer to them? Maoists and antam. Why we call them Maoists? Anyone knows that? Naxalites, incorrect please. Naxalites in India are called Maoists. And they are called Maoists for a particular reason, because they follow the ideology of a person by name Mao Zedong. And please tell me someone is telling China ain't it? He is the man who has made China a communist country. Who? Mao Zedong. And a Vyakti, he was a communist leader. And he is the leader who made China a communist country. You think China was a communist country from the day one of its history? No, please. It has become a Chinese communist country only in the year 1949, roughly around the same time when we got independence. If this man made China a communist country, and if some people in India are taking him as a motivation, what do you think should be the ultimate aim of this people in India? Turn India into a communist country. As simple as that. Made China communist. These people are taking him as an inspiration. The goal is to make India also a communist country. Amen, Nana. You will study about Naxalism in GS paper 3 for your mains, and a topic called chapter Internal Security. But I am going to discuss about this man in General Studies paper 1 as part of world history. Will you really be able to understand this without this? Ardhamaittada? How can you understand here? Because this people's motivation is Mao Zedong, and do you think in internal security, the teacher will start discussing everything about who is Mao Zedong and all? It's really not possible. It is the work of whom? The history teacher should actually put the base for you all, so that once you understand who is Mao, you will understand what is communism as an ideology, and then you will be able to appreciate what is being taught in GS paper 3. So now if you'll see the GS syllabus for your mains, if you keep aside essay as a paper, you will have 4 papers. 1, 2, 3, 4. History is put in which paper? 1. Why? Do you think the UPSC members, when they designed the syllabus, they designed it randomly? Inky Pinky Ponky and history nation itla? Leda, is there a particular logic why before placing history in the paper 1? The logic unda? Enta logic cheppandi. Without understanding what has happened till now, How can you understand what is happening in the present? That's the reason why UPSC has put history in the paper 1. I'm not saying again in any, my meaning is not to say that my subject is the greatest subject or important subject, nothing like that. But because it is dealing with the past, once you understand what happened in the past, you'll understand what is happening in the present even better. Because the background that comes here will help you understand the topics that are there in all these papers. For suppose in paper 4 you have a topic called ethics of paper 4. Will you get a lot of members from the past? Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, some Greek philosophers you will get. Will you get some Indian philosophers also? Yes, you might have heard this man Kautilya. Chanakya, Arthashastra book. Now, in ethics, they will discuss some points about Arthashastra and Kautilya and what ethics this man has given. But where do you first actually encounter Kautilya, Again in history. I'll have to explain to you who was Kautilya, what is his contribution to Indian history. Then once you have a background in paper 1, you'll be able to appreciate Kautilya or Arthashastra in ethics paper 4. This is how it will actually help. So generally I keep telling people without attaching any superiority to my subject history as such, should not see really history as one of the subjects of general studies but as the base subjects for other subjects. Because what you study here will eventually help you understand the other topics more easily. Fine. Inkote cheptanu example. In paper 2, we have this subject called polity. In polity, we all study the Constitution of India. And when you open this book, Constitution of India, there is a small one-page article called Preamble. Most of us have heard of this. That's the introductory page for Constitution. And do you know what are the first lines in the preamble? First line. We, the people of India. We, the people of, and I say, do you know that when our constitution makers were writing this constitution, they actually took these terms from somewhere else, this line. They have actually taken this line from American Constitution. Why they took it from American Constitution, American Constitution is the first written constitution in the world. And before that constitution, no other country had this practice of having a written constitution. There was one country which had a constitution, that was UK. But then it was an unwritten constitution. But having a book containing a set of rules, that it is according to these rules we must govern our country, and that kind of a written practice of having a constitution was first ever started by United States of America, and from there we have taken this line. Now why am I telling you this story? Because we are going to study about USA in world history in a topic called as American Revolution. After that revolution happened, people actually revolted. People are revolted against their government. They did not like the existing form of government because the government was ruling the country as it wanted. And the people of America overthrew that government and said that we don't want you to rule the country as you want. We are from now onwards going to write a set of rules according to which you should rule us. You can't rule this country as you want. And the first time the world ever had that written constitution is USA, and our constitution makers have taken the term from there. And then again American Revolution, I am going to teach you all in world history lo cheptanu. Now you tell me, while reading all these things, will it make a base for preparing you for the other subjects? Paper 2 gaavachu, 3 gaavachu, 4 gaavachu. That is why UPSC has essentially put this syllabus as paper 1. Normal ga cheppandi 1 2 3 4 వేస్తే నువ్వు 4 3 2 1 ఆర్డర్ చదువుతావా? How will you prepare here? Don't you think the very expectation of UPSC is first start with paper 1, go to 2, 3 and 4. So that is how we are going to deal with the subject. Fine. Then some more points. Now that you understood how we should study history and why history is important, let me tell you some more factual parts of history. When you take this subject history, you really have a very lengthy subject. Nearly 180 to 200 hours you are going to spend with me. Almost 100 sessions now of 2 hours each. So now people should be very comfortable with me, because if you do not come into the same frequency level, you will really not enjoy the classes. So 200 hours, over 200 hours, what are all the components that we are going to deal? History is generally divided into 2 parts. Indian history. Again, which of these 2 things we will study in greater depth? Obviously Indian history. But again, that is history. World history is only for mains, Nana. You don't have world history for preliminary examination. Because if they go and give you world history for preliminary examination, you'll have to mug up a lot of facts and names and years. Thankfully, they have not put it for prelims. UPSC is intelligent. They know what you should learn. And actually, Nana, till 2013, I do not know if any one of you is aware of this. This was not a part of general studies syllabus at all. 2013 mundu. 2013 was 1 year when UPSC restructured the syllabus of the civil service examination. Before that, there was no world history. Why do you think in 2013 then UPSC introduced world history? Chabala? The reason is today the world is becoming more and more globalized. It is not sufficient for you to learn only about Indian history. You must also have some understanding about world history. Now you please tell me, don't you think there would have been many events in the world history which would have impacted Indian history? Now just now I showed you all one example in the beginning of the class. Without World War II, how can you understand why India got independence in 1947 only? Please tell me. Definitely World War II has played an important role in India getting freedom or no? Yes. If that war did not happen, probably we would have got independence a bit later. Yes. So clearly, UPSC has introduced this in 2013 to help you understand you cannot live like a frog in a well anymore. Bailo kappalaga batkalevu. You have to learn what has happened outside the world, outside India also. But then again, I told UPSC is considerate. They have put it only for mains, which means learn the concepts. No need to remember all the years and dates and the names of the people, but get that essence from the world history. And then when you come to Indian history, we actually divide Indian history into many components. So, most of you might be at least aware of these components: ancient India, medieval India, modern India, art and culture, and then post-independence. What do you mean by post-independence after 1947? This was also not a part of your syllabus before 2013, please. 2013 mundu, your history ends with 1947. No, please, I'll say what has ended in 1947 is one phase of your history. After 1947 is what you'll have to really understand because tomorrow you're aspiring to become a civil servant and you'll have to work with the political parties. Yes, please. And unless and until you know how this country has run since 1947, how will you be really able to do justice to your job? Yes. And then introducing this has been really very enlightening for me because I told you 2014 and 15 were my last attempts and 13 was when we had this change. Don't you think for us as a students, it would have been very painful for us to start learning all these new things at one time? We did not have sources, we did not have teachers, we did not have courses. But now when I look back as a teacher, I really feel, although we might have faced a problem at that time, UPSC has done a very, very nice and wise thing introducing these two parts as part of your syllabus. Will you agree with that? Yes. World history we must know, and Indian history does not stop with 1947. It is another chapter of Indian history that has started from 1947. You know what we study under post-independence? We study right from 1947 till 2025. All the important events of that gone past, which means we will see the list of all the prime ministers of this country. What Jawaharlal Nehru, what kind of problems he might have faced, how did he solve these problems. You might have all heard about Article 370 being removed. What is Article 370? That was an article which was giving a special status to your state called Jammu and Kashmir. Who gave it? Jawaharlal Nehru gave it. And who removed it? Modi removed it. When he removed it in 2019. But now if you, for a student studying civil service in 2019, for that person, that removal of 370 was a current affairs. That was happening something in front of us. But if you should understand why Modi removed 370 and how he removed 370, first you should know what? Where did that article come from first of all? And that you will not understand before 1947 because that happened after 1947. So the more you learn about this post-independence, again it will help you understand the present. Have you all heard in the recent last few months, there was a bill called a Waqf Amendment Bill which actually became an act and it's now challenged in the Supreme Court. You know when was the Waqf Amendment Act first framed? It was framed in the Nehru's time. After Nehru, it was again amended in 1995. And after that, now that is again come into the news. Without understanding the background of Waqf Act, how will you really, just by looking into the current affairs, you will understand what amendments these people are making. You might understand, you might collect some points, but you will understand and appreciate it better when you know the background story. And again, fortunately, I'll say, this is also only for mains. UPSC has not put it for preliminary examination. They are not asking you to remember all those years and names, but you should know the concepts, the basic storyline. You should have an understanding. And it is these components which actually take a long time for us, because these things are both for prelims as well as for mains. And here it is not sufficient that you know just the concepts and leave the storyline. You will have to mug up dates. You will have to mug up some years, names of the kings and battles and all these things. We will have to do this. And it takes, as I just now said, it will take me a long time for me to cover all these things. And generally, what is the order in which we are going to deal this? First, I will be taking up ancient India. Then I will take medieval India. Then I don't go to modern India. Modern India, can I say, is the time period in which Indian history is associated with British rule in India. Modern India is the time period when India was under the British rule. Can I say so? Yes. So before going to modern India, what we do is we jump to third. First is we jump to world history. Why? In world history, will we know what is happening in Britain first of all? Once you understand what is happening in Britain, then can I bring you how Britain was ruling India? So the fourth component will be modern. Then we come to modern, and after modern, we don't go to art and culture. Our modern ends with which year? 1947. Post-independence starts from which year? 1947. We again continue with this, finish this off. After all those things, the most factual component in your history is art and culture. What will you study in as part of art and culture? Idea paintings, sculptures, architecture, temples, all these things we are going to study there. Fine. So this is the most factual portion of your history, whereas most of the other have good amount of concepts. Okay. So this is how we are going to deal with the subject. Time on the run. Okay. You want to listen? The points? Okay. So this is how we will handle this. And now coming to my teaching style. Now, when I allow to discuss such a vast subject with you all, it is my experience in the last few years as a teacher. When I spend more time for dictation in the class, it eats away my time. I can't spend quality time for discussing and analyzing issues. Yes, please. So what I generally do is give you all printed handouts for every topic almost. Again, I don't give all the 100% topics. You will become very lazy. You'll stop coming to classes. Okay. For every subject, 75% of the course will be given in the form of handouts. And I hope you should have understood already my logic. If I'm giving a handout before the class starts, suppose tomorrow I'm going to start Indus Valley Civilization. 1 or 2 days before only you'll start getting the handouts. What is my expectation as a teacher? You'll read and come. And when you read a handout before the class once, you come to the class and listen to the same thing second time. After the class, you go and revise it. How many times you're dealing with one topic? 3 times. Don't you think 3 times is sufficient enough for you to get the things into your mind? You study it, you listen to the class, and again go and recap it once. I think that is more than sufficient, right? And there are so many textbooks that you'll have to study. Don't worry. That is the purpose of this handouts. Because I would have read many textbooks myself. Because see, when I was a student of UPSC, I would have studied all the different subjects, polity, geography, history. For me, as a student, history was only one of my subject. But as a teacher, my only subject. I don't need to read polity and geography and economy now. So don't you think I would have read all the NCERTs multiple times? And I should also have read something more than NCERTs. That's why I was able to show you all the different aspects of history, right? Whatever is possible, the basic NCERT books and some extra knowledge, I will try to dump it in my handouts. And you know how many handouts on the whole you will get? For world history, you might get some 12 to 13 handouts, and for modern India, nearly 25 handouts. And just a few days ago, one of my students from another institute brought and showed me all the handouts that I've given throughout the course recently. Just I closed that batch for them. I was really myself surprised to see the bundle of handouts that I've given. Into chindrade. Naake bhai neen ichina nara ante. Man nuve ichina sar antadu. Ancient India, medieval India, modern India, world history, post-independence, into chinnade. Now, having read all those handouts, don't you think you are doing justice to yourself? Because you are not coming here for me or the institute purpose. Yes, please. So don't really burden yourself to read all these textbooks. When I come to the regular course, I will tell you, Apart from my handouts, I am not saying that you should read only my handouts. Definitely, no teacher on the earth can cover every detail, every fact in the handouts. Can I say, obviously, don't you think some factual points would have been left out from my handout? But the storyline and concept, I guarantee you, none of this concept and story will miss from the handout. Here and there, some facts will be missing. I will tell you exactly for each topic how we are going to deal with that things. The general style of teaching will be, I will start with my, you will start reading with my handouts. Suppose Indus Valley Civilization you read. I will tell you to go out to that NCERT, which NCERT you should refer. I will give all that list. You will go to that NCERT. First read the handout. Now you know the entire story of that handout, that topic. You will start not reading that NCERT. You will only scan that NCERT. And line by line, just you will keep reading because you already know the storyline. What you will be finding is some or one or two facts. When you look at that, you will understand that this is missing in the handout. What you will do? Simply add that. That's all is your job. Fine. I hope you at least got an idea. The purpose of this orientation class was to tell you what is the subject and how the teacher approaches the subject and how you will try to get into frequency with me. Fine. So I'll see you again. As I know, the schedule is going to start on June 23rd and I'll meet you guys there. Okay. Thank you.